Hi, I'm Dr. Hisham, and I'm here to talk to you today about mouthwashes and mouth rinses. How to use them, when to use them, when they're needed, when they don't make a difference, and most importantly, how to analyze and find out for yourself which are good ones for you and which are not so good for you, based on understanding and reading ingredients and just looking at them, basically, smelling them, tasting them, as well as maybe if you want to copy what I'm going to do, because this is a very simple home experiment that you can do that I will show you, how to test them, especially for pH, which is very, very important. When would you use a mouthwash, or what you would use it for? A lot of marketing out there, a lot of things being said about them, so I'll just try to summarize it from a professional experience as well as a personal experience. When and what are they good for? I see mouthwashes, a good mouthwash, as something that helps in this process of maintaining the health and the balanced ecology and the balanced environment inside your mouth, so that the good bacteria can grow and the bad bacteria can be suppressed or killed, helping in the cleaning of your mouth, but not cleaning your mouth. Because what really cleans your mouth, what cleans your teeth and your gums, is a soft toothbrush without abrasive toothpaste on it, no abrasives at all, so no toothpaste, something else, like my serum, as I show you in the other videos, to brush your teeth and your gums with. That's what cleans them. However, if you use a mouth rinse before, that's good for you, a good mouth rinse, it should help you soften and change the biochemistry and the biology inside that sticky plaque so that it actually falls away quicker, and also, once it's gone, the environment that's left behind, the combination of what you used on your toothbrush as well as the mouth rinse just before it, leave an environment that stays there beyond the moment of cleaning, that will nurture the good bacteria to come back, allow them to come back, and keep pushing away, keep suppressing the bad bacteria and the fungus from regrowing, because something will always regrow. But if that environment is flowing and hydrated and alkaline or neutral, the good bugs will come back, because the bad bugs can't grow in that. If that environment left behind after you've cleaned or before you've cleaned, and both of them basically is acidic and dehydrated, well, the bad guys are going to come back, which means more bad breath, more risk for gum disease, more risk for tooth decay, and so on and so forth. So do all mouth rinses do this? Alkalize your mouth, destabilize the plaque, solubilize it, soften it, and really help you maintain that balance, or don't they? And let's look at the ingredients and the constituents and the combination of what's going on to really understand that better. Obviously, a very common use and a common claim for mouth rinses, as we even have on our own mouth rinse, on my alkaline mouth rinse, is to freshen breath. Same thing, just like I mentioned before, if that mouth rinse kills bad bacteria and fungus, as well as leaves an environment that's good for the good ones to come back and nurtured and nourished and not desiccate your own skin inside, it actually will help do that. It will help reduce, or it should help reduce, the bad breath issue by killing the bad bacteria, removing dead skin and dead debris, because what smells in our mouths basically is dead skin, dead oral skin that's rotting away. Rotting flesh doesn't smell good. Rotting food debris and bad bacteria that are stuck all around this whole environment basically. So we want that to be removed, and we want the sulfur compounds that make that smell. What we smell as bad is sulfur compounds from all this dead necrotic debris basically, that we want that neutralized. And a mouth rinse that contains sodium chloride, for example, like what we made here, will help do that very, very effectively. Versus mouth rinses that just mask the smell by a little bit of mint, just a bit more menthol in there, and at the same time, instead of helping suppress the bad bacteria and express the good ones as well as rehydrate your mouth, they actually end up killing your own cells, adding to that dead pool of cells, as well as leaving a desiccated environment that's more primed for the bad bacteria to keep growing back into. The best analogy I can give people about this is putting perfume on a dirty body. If you need to wash your body because something smells, you need to wash your body. You need to clean the dirt. If you just put perfume on to mask it, well, of course, it'll smell great for 5 minutes. And then the stink is back and it's even stronger. Especially if that thing was an irritant to your skin, it will make it even smell worse. So that's the best analogy I can give you, and please think about it for a moment. And try out or think about what you've been using to so-called freshen your breath. Has it really been doing it over a period of time? Does it last? And has it stopped the bad breath long term? Think about it for yourself. Now let's look at some ingredients that are specifically bad for you, that you should avoid at any cost, and of course, good ingredients that you should be looking forward to. And we'll start with some of these most common mouthwashes that you'll find out in supermarkets and pharmacies and dentists and everywhere else. I've covered the brands, as I always do with these videos, because I'm not talking about a specific brand. I could have filled up this table with 20 to 30 different mouthwashes, and I've got lots of them here and in the clinic. I keep testing them out. For the last 16 years I've been testing these things and showing these tests that I will show you now and more at my courses to colleagues, to other dentists, and they will all go, wow, we didn't know this. I'm like, well, I didn't know it either until I found out. So it doesn't matter the brand, it's what's in it, what it looks like, what it does, and what it doesn't do. And some of them are conventional, and some of them are so-called natural. And as I always say, natural in effect is what we're looking for, something that is natural for your body, that nourishes, nurtures, complements, replenishes, protects what's natural in your own body, versus something that may be natural in source, as everything is actually natural in source some way or another, but it's unnatural, it is anti-nature, it's unintelligent to use inside your mouth and inside your body, because it messes up the natural flow and the natural balance of the ecology inside your mouth or any other part of your body. So that's about the word natural. Coming back to these, the first thing that I would say to avoid is color. If it's colored and it's a mouthwash that you're supposed to use every day for the rest of your life, whether before brushing or after brushing, and like I said, it should be used before brushing, so you don't brush away the softened enamel or softened gum that's been softened by acids that you've been consuming during the daytime, or if you've had a dry mouth during the daytime. Before you brush your teeth, you need to alkalize and neutralize that acid and rebalance things before you actually put a brush on there. Otherwise, you're brushing away that softened enamel and that softened gum, and it's gone forever. That's how dental erosion and dental attrition works. You keep abrading away teeth with abrasives and hard toothbrushes after being acidified with food or something like that, or drinks, and or acidic mouthwashes, like I'll show you. A lot of these are acidic actually. And you keep scrubbing it away, the gum and the teeth. So we get gum recession, we get tooth erosion, and we go, what's going on here? It's acid and abrasion. Avoid the acid, avoid the abrasive, and when you get exposed to acid from your food and your diet, neutralize it. So it shouldn't be an acid. Let's get to the acid part back again later. So the color is something to avoid, and I've done many videos like this. As I just said, I've been showing it to colleagues and in public for a long time. 2014, I did some videos showing how when we soak teeth in these mouth rinses, these very specific ones and some others, as well as drinks, common drinks that people drink all the time, how the tooth color changes. And we'll talk about real human teeth, because I'm a dentist, so we do get a supply of those, sadly, but that's changing. So when you look at those videos, which were on our blogs and on my YouTube channel and on our Facebook page, showing the color changes in those teeth when soaked in anything that's colored and acidic. So color is bad because anything that's colored, if you use it all the time, will stain your teeth. And we give you something that will help you whiten your teeth. As a mouth rinse, as a product to use, it should be color-free, so it doesn't add to the staining that we're trying to remove, which is from coffee or tea or red wine or whatever food or stuff that you consume. We should be helping get rid of that, not add more color and stain to it. That's the very first thing to look for before you even open it and smell the stench of the alcohol that's in there, or analyze any of the other ingredients or test the pH. One of the biggest problems with these is, other than the pH and the color, is the alcohol content. This is about 22 to 25% alcohol, which means a quarter of that bottle is alcohol. The rest is water, and then there's a few drops of essential oils and preservatives, benzoates. Now, alcohol is not something specific to only most conventional mouth rinses. It is also in a lot of so-called natural mouth rinses. So avoid the alcohol, because if you don't know it, alcohol is a horrible, horrible thing to be used and put on skin every single day, even from drinking, even from any source. And you know that, we've all heard about it, and we have so much research and so much evidence over decades how alcohol, regular consumption from any source, will increase your chances for oral cancer. Very simply because it kills the human cells inside that delicate mucosa inside the mouth and of course the guts, the esophagus, and everywhere down, further down. Kills the cells and strips them dead basically, as well as drying them out of saliva. So that dehydration and desiccation and cells dying is what you feel as a burning sensation in your mouth when you use these alcohol-containing mouth rinses. Unfortunately, what I just said now, this burning sensation you feel, like, oh my God, thank God I just spat that out. Sadly, it's used by some companies to promote their mouth rinses as something good on TV ads. Like, on the one side, it's hilarious. On the other side, which is the more important side, it is ridiculous and annoying and totally wrong. Because now you're marketing something that's really bad, that's really hurtful to human beings, as something that's good and fun. It isn't. It's not at all. So alcohol is really, really bad. Please avoid it. The best analogy, again, you can have out of that is if you do drink, and I don't drink personally, so I don't know how it feels really, except from using these things and trying them myself many times to know how it feels. When you drink strong alcohol like vodka or spirits or even whiskey, you get that burning sensation in the back of the throat as it goes down. Well, that's exactly what's happening. It's stripping the cells dead and all the moisture out, and that's what burns. That's not something we should be selling to you and you buying for a health product, because it's not a health thing. It's a disease aggravating thing. So that's the alcohol content, basically. The other issue that I have with a lot of these is the benzoates. So any benzene products, benzoates, hydroxybenzoates, the parabens, also called as named parabens. Many of you might be aware of this. Shouldn't put them on skin, shouldn't consume them. They're really bad. They're used as preservatives for products, for cosmetic products, sometimes in food, and of course in oral care products. It's a preservative for the product, but it's harmful for the human being. And we don't need them. We have other better and safer products that we can use, or ingredients that we can use in our products to preserve them and make them functional and natural in effect rather than unnatural and unhealthy in effect. So that's with these two here. I'll come back, and there's many that are like them, so it's not this one thing here. While we're at the alcohol part, because this so-called natural one also has alcohol in it, and it claims to, so it says natural xylitol. I love xylitol, no problem with that at all, but that's just marketing here, because while it does contain xylitol, no question about that, it contains grain alcohol grain alcohol ethanol. It doesn't matter the source of the alcohol. Of course, all alcohol will come from a natural source. It's the fermentation of some grains or some sugar in grapes or malt or whatever. The source is not the point here. The effect is the point, like I just said. And the simplest way to think about this is to ask your dentist. All of us dentists and doctors, of course, we would have alcohol sprays in the practice to spray on surfaces, kill bacteria, wipe off and disinfect items, soak something into it to disinfect it. Very effective antibacterial, very effective. Basically, it sucks the water dry from the cells and kills them very quickly. That's that burning sensation again. Ask your dentist, would you use, or why don't you use that alcohol that you got on the bench there inside my mouth to kill bacteria? Because, hey, we want to kill bacteria in the mouth, right? Oh, yeah. They would immediately tell you, no, I wouldn't use that because it's an irritant. They will naturally tell you that. No, I would not use that alcohol inside your mouth to rub it on your skin, on your gums or whatever. It's not good. Teeth wouldn't be affected too much by it, but the skin, horribly affected. There you go. If the dentist wouldn't use it in the practice to scrub your mouth, but we can use it to scrub dirt and kill bacteria off surfaces, why are we using it inside the mouth at other times? Very interesting. And that, by the way, is how these specific products here were actually invented. Back in the 1800s, a doctor invented a concoction of alcohol and water and a little bit of essential oils to wipe surfaces and benches and floors in his surgery before he did surgery on human beings to make it cleaner. That's the start of infection control. Fantastic idea. That same exact concoction was then put in bottles, and still until today, put in bottles and sold as a use for many other parts of the body before it's settled to be sold as a mouthwash. Check out what I'm talking about online. It's readily available information that I found out, and I've been talking about it for, like I said, well over 10 years now. Back to this one here. The main thing that I don't like about it is the alcohol and the pH, as I will show you the pH later on. The sodium benzoate. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good ingredients in here. A lot of things that I totally agree with, that I totally like. I don't know where the xylitol comes from in this product or in this product here, which also has xylitol. Xylitol is fantastic. However, you must make sure that it comes from birchwood trees, the original source of xylitol, the organic, the clean, the researched part of the whole xylitol story that's been going for 40 years. If it comes from the cheaper form, which is GMO corn, and most corn, especially in the United States, is all GMO, then definitely something to avoid. One, because of its source. You don't know how good is that xylitol if it came from GMO corn, but also because when you buy a product with a GMO corn source, you're by default supporting the manufacturer and the sales and everything else, that whole process of more GMO and more disease-causing items going out there. So please be careful where the xylitol comes from. But xylitol itself is fantastic. And many other ingredients in here are really good. Ethanol is bad. Sodium benzoate, just like the other ones, the same preservative, not a good idea at all. The rest I'm not concerned about. I'll show you the pH in a minute. This one here, this is sold as a professional care product for people with dry mouth, who have burning dry mouth, low saliva, a lot of oral disease, a lot of bad smell in their mouth, of course. Like I said before in this video and in other videos, saliva is the vital blood flow of your mouth. So we should nurture it, protect it, saturate it, enhance it, enrich it, replace it if it's missing with what is like it. Mimic saliva and simulate that saliva. So the pH should be 8. That's exactly the pH of stimulated saliva that we make to protect ourselves so that we can come back to neutral and stay balanced. That's the whole function of stimulated saliva. Full of good minerals, bicarbonate, calcium, phosphate, full of buffers, full of lipids, full of antibodies, full of mucins that lubricate and protect, as well as basically they form a slippery layer, but they also adhere to protect, and full of opioids that actually help us desensitize and not get that burning sensation that people with a dry mouth have. So if you have a dry mouth, you would know exactly what I'm talking about, from medications, from age, from drugs, from alcohol consumption, and there's a lot of these combinations. A lot of people are suffering from that. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So always stuff that's good for our saliva. Well, alcohol is very bad for our saliva, like I just said, and the acid is really bad. But then this one here, it is alcohol-free, which is really good. So it does say alcohol-free, that's fantastic. But if it's sold to replenish and protect saliva in people who already have a dry mouth, I would naturally think that it would also contain stuff that totally mimics saliva but doesn't add any other risk factors. So when I look at it, first of all, we'll measure the pH and I'll show you the pH of it. I won't talk about it for a second, I just want to show it to you. It's much easier if you see stuff rather than me talk about that. Propylene glycol, that I'm concerned about, which is in most oral care products, including most toothpaste as well. Propylene glycol is a humectant. It's what makes things thick, basically like glycerine. Well, it is glycerine, a form of glycerine, but the source and the way it's made, it's propylene glycol. It's a petrochemical from propylene gas. Look that up, look up the risks of it, and just understand or think for yourself, why am I putting a petrochemical humectant inside my body every day, especially if I'm not well and I need something that will help me replenish back my balance and my health? Important questions to ask. So anything with propylene glycol, I would avoid it. Sodium benzoate, same preservative as before, benzoic acid. So some issues there. Most importantly, we'll test the pH. You don't need a very complex mouthwash. 4 or 5 ingredients, maybe 6 if you include the menthol, which most of them would have menthol, including ours, basically fresh menthol. That's it. And they should all combine synergistically to create a harmonizing, balancing effect, like I said, and stimulate as well as simulate, so mimic as well as stimulate that saliva. If you have so many ingredients, like this one has nearly 30 ingredients, I'm like, why is all that in there? Some of them are totally useless, some of them are quite bad, some of them are really good. It almost counterbalances its own effect inside the body. Now, before we do the pH test, I want to go back to one point which I said at the beginning. They might help you whiten your teeth, so avoid colors in them, because one of the functions of a mouth rinse should be to help you whiten your teeth. It doesn't do all the whitening, but it helps de-stain, oxidize stains out of your teeth. So it shouldn't contain colors, but things like sodium chloride, which is what we have in here, is a mild oxidizing agent, and it's food grade. It's actually put in drinking water It's safer than chlorine for human consumption and more effective against bad bacteria and viruses and sulfur compounds, as well as it oxidizes stains. So it helps with the whitening process. And obviously sodium bicarbonate. I'll read out the ingredients in ours, which I know you can read them on the website and on any of our websites. Anything that I say, please check it out. Whether it's about our products or other products, anything else, check it out. Make your own decisions, make your own analysis, do your own research. Believe yourself once you see what I'm talking about and once it makes sense to you. That's the most important thing. So I don't want people to just believe me blindly. I want you to believe with me if and when it makes sense to you. So 5 ingredients: ozonated aqua, ozonated water, water that's filtered and ozonated and fluoride free, so it's very clean when we put it inside. Xylitol, extremely high concentration of xylitol in this. Finnish birchwood xylitol. Sodium chloride, sodium bicarbonate, zinc citrate, very essential for normal function inside the mouth, and menthol. That's it. I don't see any reason why we should have anything more complex than that. And if you can't afford this or don't have access to it or whatever, just use baking soda and xylitol if you have xylitol. If you don't, just the cheapest and easiest way is baking soda in water, a teaspoon and a glass, and just rinse with that before you brush your teeth. That's the easiest and cheapest mouth rinse that you can make at home. No problem with that at all. You want something better that's got multiple effects, you can go for something better, but make sure you know what you're putting in your mouth and your loved ones' mouths, your children, every single day for the rest of your life, and how it combines with other stuff. A lot of these mouth rinses that contain chlorhexidine, it says clearly on them, do not use for longer than 2 weeks. Yet nobody reads that, and they sell them to you, and you keep using them, and they stain your mouth, they stain your teeth, they stain your skin, they change your taste, they kill all the good bacteria. Big mess. We see that all the time in the clinic, and I'm going, why are they selling this? Plus, they contradict with their own rest of the products. Chlorhexidine contradicts with fluoride. Now, I don't like either because both have very bad effects in the human body, and research, not my opinion, this is research and evidence. But even the companies that make both of these things, fluoride toothpaste with all these other additives that we talked about before and chlorhexidine mouth rinse, they don't even tell you the fact that if you use this and then that or this and then that, the fluoride and the chlorhexidine combination inactivates each other, which means both of them are useless. So even if you ignored the bad side effects of the products, basically, and just went into, do they work synergistically? Do they help me both at the same time? Or do they just add risk to me as well as to themselves, to each other? The combination is worse for me than anything by itself. People don't talk about that. This is science. What I just said now is absolute science. You ask a chemist, you ask a professor in a dental school who understands chemistry and who's researching it, obviously, they will tell you, oh yeah, of course, chlorhexidine and fluoride don't go together at the same time. Well, hello? Who knows that? How many dentists know that? How many dentists speak about that and tell that to their people? Either, like I say, don't use either, but at least if you're going to use them, I can't stop people from using whatever they choose or companies from making whatever they make. Just don't use them together or just after each other. Simple things like this, yet they make a huge difference in our lives. Okay, so now let's get into the fun part, the experiment, the magic color changes. This is such a simple experiment that you can do at home, and I've done that with my daughter many times when she was little, and we still do it sometimes now. It's very simple, easy to do at home because the ingredients are, well, the products that you want to test, which I encourage you to test everything that you've got at home. For pH, all we're testing here is pH. Is it similar to the physiological, the healthy simulated saliva that we're trying to mimic and simulate, or is it not? Let's see. So this is pH paper, this is pH liquid, similar stuff, just in liquid form and paper form, and then a pH meter. We're going to use that to actually show a number, show the pH. For you, those of you who don't know what pH is, it's a way to measure acid to alkaline levels in any liquid, basically, any fluid, and it's a scale of 1 to 14, 7 being neutral, which is water. Clean, pure water is pH 7. That's our neutral point. 1 is very acid. 14 is extremely alkaline. 13, 14, not good for the human body. There's nothing that's 13, 14, or even 12 really in the human body. 1 or 2 are not good for any part in the human body except in the stomach. That's where we make that kind of acid to dissolve bones, dissolve flesh, dissolve all the food that we eat. But that acid cannot leave the stomach. Otherwise, it eats out ulcers. It literally eats out your flesh. It eats out ulcers into your intestines or into your esophagus or into all the way up to the mouth, if people keep vomiting or people have reflux, that acid keeps coming back up, dissolves the flesh in your mouth and your teeth as well. Very bad to have acids at that level. That's why we keep neutralizing with our saliva and with our pancreatic juice and bile juice. Let's get to the point now. 1 to 14. Between 6 and 7 is not one time more or less acid, it is 10 times, because it's a logarithmic scale, it's in logs. So pH 6 is 10 times more acid than 7, the neutral. pH 5 is 100 times more acid. pH 4 is 1,000 times more acid than normal, well, the neutral pH. Blood and resting saliva pH should be between 7 to 7.4. Blood is more around the 7.4, and it's kept that way by constantly producing bicarbonate and other alkalizing buffers to neutralize the acids from dead cells and bacteria and debris and everything else that happen in there. So our goal, as I said before many times, is to mimic all the concentration and the ingredients and the constitution of natural human saliva, as well as its pH, to keep protected. So let's see if that's what these products do as they claim to do. Now, the first test will use the pH paper. I've cut some pieces out here to make it easier and quicker. So if it stays yellow or goes yellower or redder, then it's extreme acid, or it's acid, as we'll see. Now, that is acid. pH around 4, as we will see the numbers with the pH meter. This one here, it's very long, but anyway, you can see that still in the yellow range, still acid. That one there, still acid. Supposed to be a natural bath rinse, contains alcohol, contains benzoates, and is acidic. Another one which is made for people with dry mouth, who already have a problem with their quality and quantity of saliva. Now we're giving them more acid in their mouth. That's not normal. That's not okay. The one that says alkaline bath rinse, what do you think? Is it going to be alkaline? Well, of course. It is dark green, pH 8. That's what it's meant to be. It's not by accident. It's not how it is. It's designed to be how it is. I designed this to be exactly like this for a purpose, for a reason. Now, let's confirm these numbers. These are indicators. This is a pH meter. It measures the pH. You can get these in hardware stores and electronic stores as well. It's not a very complex device at all. We have $1,000 ones in the factory where we make our products, but that's not necessary to have at home. So this should be pH about 4, and you can see here 4.3. So anywhere 4.1, 4.2, 4.3 is all bad news. We need to rinse the pH meter in between measurements. So all the liquid that's inside needs to be rinsed off. Just standard clean water, basically. Rinse that out, and we need some tissue to wipe that off. So we'll wipe it right here. Let's put it in the other one. Shouldn't be too dissimilar. It's 4.1 to 4.3. In this case, 4.25. Right there. Rinsing it again and drying it again. And measuring the third one, the so-called natural toothpaste, natural mouth rinse. Acid, 5.3. Yes, it is 10 times less acid than this one. 5.3, 4.3. That's 10 times difference between them. But that's 100 times more acidic than what normal saliva, normal resting saliva should be, which the stimulated one should be more alkaline to bring it back to that neutral. I hope you get the point here. Let's rinse that out. And I'm going to use some more of this tissue here. And this one, the one that's given to people with dry mouth, like I said. What's the pH there? 5 point something as is usual. Yes, 5.4. Ask any dentist or look it up online, what is the critical pH for teeth. Teeth dissolve in pH 5.5 and below. They can actually dissolve even at slightly higher pH than that, even at 6.5 if there's no mineral and it's very dry. However, we generally agree upon 5.5 as being the absolute critical pH. Don't cross that, don't stay below that for any period of time. Well, if I give you something that's already below that to start with, to so-called help you, is it really helping you? Let's rinse these acids out. And dry it well. And then put it in the alkaline one. The pH should read something around 8. I'm not even looking at it yet, so I'll tell you what it is. It's 8.3. There we go. Now the color test, the fantastic colorful test. This one looks really pretty. Liquid litmus paper. So you put that in the, it's a red liquid. Like I say, you can see it's a red liquid. When you put it in a solution, if the solution is acidic, it goes orange to yellow to red. Acid. Yes, we know, we measured it, we've seen it. It's nothing new to us, but it just looks pretty. You can see the color change. What do you think about this artificial fake colored rinse here? The green color changes to yellow. Yellow. And this one here, which is purple, when you put this in there, it goes yellow, orange, more orange because you see the purple is overshadowing that color as well a little bit. The other one here, you know it's acid. Can we see it here? Yes, it is acid. And the last one, we know it's alkaline. We've measured the pH as it's supposed to be. And we put this in there. There we go, alkaline. And that's just the pH. It's cool, it's colorful, easy to explain things with that. When I do this in front of colleagues, like I said before, I've done it all over the world at all my courses with dentists and specialists, and they're all like, wow, we didn't think of this at all like this. We didn't even know. Well, I didn't know either until I found out. So when we find out, we do better. When we care to move forward and create better. Ask questions, find out, make better decisions. If you can't find what you want, what you like, what you think is better, go make it. Nothing that any human can do is undoable by anybody else. You don't have to trust any big corporates or any small corporates or any little person, whatever. You trust whoever you want to trust when you see the evidence, when it makes sense to you, and always, in the meantime, until I see you next time, remember please, I want you to actively be aware and not beware, so that you can always look better, feel better, and be better. Thank you.